So let's start with what is philanthropreneurship, both from the advancement side, seeking funds, and from the philanthropreneur donor giving funds. So Jim, do you want to enlighten us?
That's my sole purpose today, Ireland. So, yes, philanthropreneurship is, as you say, it's the way we approach the engagement of entrepreneurs in acts of philanthropy. And it's also a recognition of how they view the world and the fact that they want to turn money. Money's a tool, from my experience, for entrepreneurs. It's merely a tool. So when they get to a point in life where they want to exchange money for meaning and purpose and legacy, you have to understand their mind, and you have to understand the entrepreneurial, or Scott said, the entrepreneurial approach you can use within a large bureaucracy. So we're coming at it at both ends, if that makes sense. What we call an inside-out and an outside-in approach.
So there are two overlapping circles between social entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship in some respects.
There is, and the delicious burden that Scott and I have is to work in a wonderful institution, but every large institution becomes bureaucratic. And can you imagine that whole days go by when I didn't want to introduce a fiery entrepreneur into the hairball of a bureaucracy so that they could watch us make sausage. So the challenge has been to mine our organization for the most creative, open-minded, entrepreneurial people, and we meet the entrepreneurs outside of the bureaucratic mindset.
Scott, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the entrepreneurial mindset is a shift. And the biggest thing that we've tried to do at CU is have that abundance mentality of really showing that there is enough, that there is more than enough. Last year, this country gave away $410 billion of philanthropy. I think it's more than $1 billion a day. And well, the first struggle is getting away from scarcity and competition. We don't have silos at CU Anschutz. We have cylinders of excellence, we call them. I'm sure your physicians on the listening to this can smile at that. And
yeah.
And so I think getting into a collaborative environment and going toward vision. This is where we're going. The water is warm. Join us. And that shift was probably the most difficult. So when you're a more visionary and you have a why and you have this is where we're going, it's more inspirational for the benefactor or investors, if you're looking at investors, and more aspirational for your institution. When you start talking about needs and your problems and things like that, that's where no one wants to talk to you about that. That's not very inspirational.
Yeah, may I add to that, Scott? Unfortunately, most nonprofits end up looking down at the floor at a small box of needs, their needs. And if they don't raise $39,000, they're going to have to lay off someone. And it's a place of anxiety. And when you talk about needs, it narrows the aperture. It actually fires up the old brain stem and the reptilian brain, and it narrows our creativity. And it limits our ability to think in innovative ways. And frankly, it increases fear, which is palpable and can be perceived by VCs or investors or philanthropists. So instead of that small box of needs on the floor, what Scott is saying is because we're both forward-leaning as humans, forward-leaning and forward-thinking, we require spiritual points or important points along the horizon upon which to fix our eyes. And so one of the takeaways we'd like to say is, if you are in a scarcity mode, if you're focused down on needs, then you're automatically selling needs outward. That's the inside out approach. We have needs, we're going to sell you our needs. It's not very inspiring, has very few philanthropic joy calories. It's not the way we practice.
If everyone on this call focuses on getting investments or focuses on the money, regardless if it's an investment or philanthropy, if that is your goal, is to get investment, you're going to lose. You're going to lose big time, right? So for us, when you focus on money, and which is funny because we're in philanthropy, you're going to lose. If you focus on vision, a shared why of where we want to go with your investors and with our benefactors, old model, I mean, this is not old model, this is current model thinking. Current model thinking, all right, is we're going to do a strategic plan. Then we're going to do we're going to have fundraising goals within that strategic plan, and we're going to fill those pillars of the strategic plan with philanthropy. And so what happens is the bureaucratic institutions do this internally. They talk about all their needs and what they want, and then they look at advancement professionals and say, I want you to go out there and sell that and pitch it and start going to dinners and all that. What we're saying, and what we're saying to these physician leaders now is, that is not the approach. That's called an inside-out approach. We want to do an outside-in approach, where we actually bring people along with us. Now, we're not going to bring every single benefactor with us, but you should know that 99% of our income at CU Anschutz comes from 1% of our benefactors. So that 1%, we've got to be really, really good at that. Really good. So last year, we were very fortunate to work with inspired benefactors, and we raised $343 million. So our rolling 3-year average is $256 million. So that's an increase from a rolling 3 average of $65 million. So going from $65 million to $252 million was a huge jump for us. But how we did that was we walked with people, we asked their opinion, we had conversations. If you focus on closing deals and you focus on closing gifts and philanthropy, you're going to lose. If you focus on opening conversations, opening doors, starting dialogues, and you get a shared ownership, you're going to win.